Could 2023 be the last year before the rapture? Was the global pandemic a great sign of the end of time? What does the war in Ukraine have to do with the rapture? The headlines all around the world are scary confirmations that the world is finally coming to an end. In this video, we will see the shocking rapture signs that have begun to manifest all around the world. Natural disasters, wars, political crisis, famine, and drought. All these are shocking signs of the imminent rapture. Without a shadow of any doubt, I could say with certainty that we are closer to the rapture than at any other time in history. What exactly is the rapture, you may ask? According to Wikipedia, the rapture is an end-of-time event when all Christian believers who are alive, along with resurrected believers, will rise in the cloud to meet the Lord in the air. According to 1 Thessalonians 4:16 through 17, there will come a time when people will suddenly disappear from this earth in their multitude, and no one will be able to explain what happened to them except this verse found in the Bible. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the first of the archangel, and with the trump of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, to meet the Lord in the air. And so shall we ever be with the Lord. Even though Jesus himself stated that no man knows the day of his coming, the prophecies give clear signs of the events that must unfold before the rapture. The scary part is that these events are increasingly playing out in our world today. So what are the signs of the rapture, and how are they playing out in our world today? Christian scholar and author David Jeremiah believes the evidence for the rapture is well established by four major signs according to the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 4 through 9. But a fifth sign which cannot be underestimated is added to the mix. And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, and pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginnings of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. These signs are 1. The Great Deception, Matthew 24, 4 through 5. 2. Wars among the nations, Matthew 24, 6 through 7. 3. Disasters, Matthew 24, 7 through 8. 4. Tribulations against the believers, Matthew 24, 9. Aside from that, there is also a fifth sign of the Tigris and the Euphrates rivers drying up in the Middle East. That being said, take a look at the shocking occurrences that confirm the fulfillment of these signs around the world. Amazingly, these signs are being fulfilled all over the world at an alarming rate. 1. The Great Deception. One of the four signs listed by the Matthew 24 prophecy is the rise of many false Christs. Even though this has been a reality since the late 1700s, the intensity has certainly become more alarming. With the advent of entities like Anne Lee in 1772, who claimed to be the female counterpart of Christ, to Alan John Miller, who was the founder of Divine Truth, people from several faiths and walks of life have claimed to be Christ. In 2007, a former MI5 agent and whistleblower, David Shaler, emerged and declared himself to be the Messiah. Shaler also claimed he holds the secret to eternal life. This is even more rampant in Africa, a continent that is highly religious. For example, a man called Moses Hilawane in South Africa, a former Johannesburg jewelry salesman, claimed God identified him as the Messiah in a dream in 1992, and even claimed that he will never die. Even more recently in 2013, Bupete Chibwe Chishimba, a Zambian from the copper mining city of Kitwe, claimed to be Christ, who incarnated with the divine powers of Jesus. Thus, the sign of deception all around the world with the advent of many false Christs have already been fulfilled. That is not the only sign of the rapture. 2. Wars among the nations. A scary headline from the Russian media reads, Russia warns of a new world war. From the Cold War down to the war against terrorism and the war in Ukraine, the world has never been so close to a global catastrophe as in the last 3 decades. Aside from the ongoing wars in the Middle East and Ukraine, there are also the threats of war all around. The conflict between Palestine and Israel is a ticking time bomb, which is also another sign of the rapture. The Bible shows us that 4 powerful kings will emerge on the world stage with clear objectives. The first is to conquer the world and bring it under a global dictatorship, stripping global citizens of their civil rights, and the second objective is to conquer Israel and destroy the Jewish people. If you think this is far-fetched, just take a look around you today. Not only is the alliance between China and Russia growing stronger, but there is also an increasing amount of groundwork being laid for the denial of people's fundamental civil and human rights in the name of global health precautions as seen during the global pandemic lockdowns. Since 2003 till date, there have been various wars around the globe. From the war in Darfur to the war in Iraq, to the conflict in the Niger Delta, down to the Russian invasion of Ukraine, it is evident that the world is getting less peaceful rapidly, and it is increasingly becoming more difficult to coexist as nations and even individuals. 3. Disasters. Similar to destruction by man through wars is the protest of nature itself. Our planet is becoming less and less accommodating of the human race. Whether it is the natural disasters of floods, tsunamis, hurricanes, and cyclones, or the outbreak of deadly disease like Ebola, HIV, the coronavirus, or cholera, the signs are all around us. On 30 January 2020, the Director General of the World Health Organization, following the advice of the Emergency Committee convened under the International Health Regulations 2005, declared the current outbreak of COVID-19 a public health emergency of international concern and issued temporary recommendations. By 30th December 2020, the official figure for the death toll from the pandemic stood at 1,813,188. Yet preliminary estimates suggest the total number of global deaths attributed to the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 is at least 3 million, representing 1.2 million more deaths than officially reported. Aside from that, global famine is also a disaster worthy of note. According to the World Food Program, 828 million people are unsure of where their next meal will come from. With the soaring prices of fertilizers, extreme climate conditions, conflicts, and economic disasters, the final famine index has become even more alarming. 4. Tribulations against the believers. The last sign stated in Matthew 24 is the sign of the tribulation of the believers. Jesus said, Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations, for my name's sake. In 2022, the index of persecution of Christ in countries worldwide recorded an alarming 98.33. The index ranges from 0, which means complete freedom, to 100, which signifies total suppression. Afghanistan was the country with the highest suppression of Christians globally, followed closely by North Korea at 96.48, and Somalia coming third at 91.43. This index takes into consideration the legal and official status of Christians, the actual situation of Christians living in the country, and regulations from the state, as well as factors that can undermine the freedom of religion in a country. This growing suppression of the Christian faith is a key sign of the rapture of the church as predicted by Jesus. 5. The drying up of the Euphrates and the Tigris rivers. Finally on the list is the drying up of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. As part of the activities that signal the rapture, Revelations 16:12 states that, And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. For several decades, it's become increasingly apparent that the Tigris-Euphrates River system is drying out. A government report in 2021 warned that the rivers could run dry by 2040 due to declining water levels and droughts driven by climate change. In 2013, NASA reported that its Gravity, Recovery, and Climate Experiment, GRACE, satellites found that the Tigris and Euphrates river basins had lost 144 cubic kilometers, or 34 cubic miles of freshwater, since 2003. What are the odds of all these signs being fulfilled at the same time? What are the odds that all these predictions would be accurately fulfilled just the way they were spoken thousands of years before now? I will leave you to consider the facts for yourself. That brings us to the end of today's video. What do you think? Do you think we are in the very last minute of existence as we know it? Or are all the signs mere coincidences? Leave a comment below sharing what you think. Remember to like this video and subscribe to this channel if you are new here. This will help you see more videos just like this one whenever it is uploaded. Thanks for your time. I will see you in the next video.